The concrete was bare. That was true to begin with. There was no coating or carpet to protect from the cold. It was naught but a slab. This is where our story begins. For upon this slab sat a young lad. This lad was known to the community as Little Jim. He was the orphaned son of an orphaned son, with a bright disposition, despite his dreary odds of survival given the era that he was living in. Times were difficult in Victorian England for street urchins with no shoes, because it was winter. Whenever a likely gentleman or lady might pass by, Little Jim would spring into action, begging for handouts, such as any fictitious Victorian-era lad with a Cockney dialect is known to do so frequently within our collective imaginations.
"Please, sir, could you spare a bit of coating? Splash of epoxy, or maybe some polyflakes? I've been sleeping on bare concrete, see, and it's ever so cold and damp. I don't even have a vapor barrier to protect me from the mold and mildew. It's given me the lungs, sir."
A nearby old man was understandably flustered at the most crude interruption to his day. "Dear boy," he'd said, "do you expect a gentleman of means to trot about the countryside with polyaspartic floor coatings on his person? You must be daft." The man began to step away when Little Jim piped up just once more.
"But, sir, it's Christmas, and the concrete is so cold and boring. Can't you please spare a bit of polyflake to ease the suffering of a defenseless child with a questionable accent and implied terminal illness?"
The old man stood in place, dumbfounded. The child was right. His accent was atrocious, and the bare concrete has never been comfortable to sleep on. Perhaps this was the old man's opportunity to turn over a new leaf, to live the life he always should have, to spread joy and polyflake across the world. Or maybe Little Jim was the perfect recycled trope to tug on his heartstrings and drive the story to completion. "Dear boy," the old man exclaimed with a sudden and totally unexpected change in tone, "I'm sorry I ever doubted you. You shall never want for a dry basement, free from musty smells and cold concrete ever again."
"Do you mean it, sir?"
asked Little Jim Englishly.
"Are you going to adopt me?"
"No, no," cried the old man. "I shall have your floor coated with a colorful polyflake coating from Paveman Coatings. That shall keep you warm, dry, and best of all, off the streets. These thoroughfares are dangerous, and I'm quite tired of being accosted by young boys with fake English accents begging for polyaspartic floor coatings to extend the life and beauty of their concrete." It was better than Little Jim ever could have expected. Now he could stay home, safe and warm, and away from decent people who didn't want to deal with fictitious Cockney street urchins. The old man smiled. He had finally discovered what it meant to be filled with the polyflake spirit. The end.